magazine stand, so you can see some of the graphics down there that were developed.
Yeah. Well, one question I asked myself is how come even when I'm the director of the company, I'm letting my own projects get cancelled. I used to get very angry about that, and it's what goes on.
The new chicken space, how much went over to Star Wars?
Quite a lot, because they actually Star Wars and Meat and Chickens both actually started off as implementations of the Wiley Coyote franchise, which we were all assured we had in the bag, paid for, done and dusted, and that's all, folks. And I spent ages doing the "That's all, folks" on the Spectrum and doing the. That was beautiful. That was the best bit of the thing, and then we haven't got the franchise, we haven't got the contract, and no license, and so most of our preliminary work was down the drain, and the Spectrum market was declining at this time, and my personal resources, the amount of were declining. I'd nowhere to live but Software Projects Factory. I had nothing to eat except what I could buy with what I could. I was literally crowbarring the petty cash to live at the time, and I was having my telephone sabotaged and various strange things that would have driven me paranoid and would have done if I hadn't known they were coming out to get me. Anyway, so basically, I was doing zombie chickens and had some nice effects. Had some really huge sprites overlapping each other without any colour clash either. Smooth scrolling, but it never got finished.
Does any of the code still survive?
Quite possibly, but I've had to move with the world in a suitcase on several occasions, and things got left behind, and most of it's probably been binned by now, to be honest. But I was keeping hold of it for quite a long time, but I began to wonder, not expecting any interest in my lifetime. I thought, well, let the historians dig it up. But,
whatever happened to Men and Willy disaster?
that was never more than a paper concept. That was just an idea.
Just an idea?
Yeah, there was never any code for it.
So you never made it into production?
No. I drew sketches, and sketches in lots of ways. Like once you start drawing sketches on squared paper, you are actually the game as in a way as in production, because as long as you're counting the number of squares, but that's as far as that ever got.
Did you sell the company onto Greek?
Who?
Did you sell your company?
Nobody's ever paid me any money for any of my companies. No, I haven't sold.
It's just you scrapped your. You didn't do very well in Strasbourg.
No, never more than sketches. That was all that ever was.
It's just I was reading on the CGE website that someone could the system's been never confirmed until now.
Well, I've had email for a few years, so I I've actually got exactly. Right. Any more burning questions?
So that's one of the
Just going back to zombie chickens. Evidently, maybe the other people in charge of software projects were perhaps a little bit more confident about the game because there were actually game inlays printed for it, even though you hadn't actually finished the game at the time. I have actually seen one, so
yes,
it's quite curious that you never got around to finishing it, and yet they were so confident.
I was walking around a pallet with full of 5,000 of them all pre-printed, and yeah, that was a big, when I began to realise that software projects wasn't working.
Was that the last thing you actually worked on?
Yes. Yeah, that's the last thing I was working at there, and once. I made an executive decision not to get the cassette covers printed because the thing isn't nearly finished yet. And somebody else made an executive decision to have them printed. And so it was one of those last straws.
How long after that did software projects actually get wound up? Star Wars came out in September '87, so that was the last thing I ever saw.
I would imagine that is very much the last thing that was ever published. The company, I think, lingered on till '89, purely just to collect in the monies and anything outstanding and discharge any debts, and hopefully we did pay everything. I've not heard of anyone getting stiffed by us, but then we were generally running as an in-profit company, as all investment was. We had a little bit of a small bank loan, but that never accelerated. That was always paid off as new products came out, and so. Yeah, I think it was '89 that software projects finally got wound up, and Star Wars was the very last product, and Zombie Chickens might have been if I could have finished it. But yeah, it's totally bizarre to go printing cassette covers when the game isn't finished. And there was just me sitting in I was the last programmer left there. Everybody else had gone. There was one of the partners and his secretary and his he had his own accounting stuff that he sort of loaned to us through the software project, but he had his own permanent accounting stuff, and so it was just that lot and me, and they had the office with the carpet and the coffee machine, and I had the dusty old hole round the back. You know where the storeroom used to be?
Yeah.
That's where I was for that.
Lovely.
Yeah, and I fished out the Faraday cages and that, so like walking outside just sort of thing. And, but it was disgusting. It was extremely depressing. Yeah, being stuck there in a crumbling old factory with asbestos dripping down off the ceiling in there. And every time I feel like finally wired a phone line together for G's Mimosa and he said, "Oh no, you're in America!" and pulling it out. Because I was when you got partners who think that you have to, who don't understand the internet, and it was, but still feel entitled to dictate, then it's probably time to start another business. So probably where my head was at when I finally parted ways. I took one of their Epson printers at the accounting department and says, "Well, I bought these, you've got too many of these." Oh, that, and that's all I took out of the company. And they're Epson FX80. Okay. So, that's all. Well, you've been great. You've all listened to me. How long has it been there? Hours.
Very well.
And
You're back in 5.